Hey all, Eskie here, bringing you another Deadlock replay review. So in this replay, we're looking at Piggy's Support Vindicta. You heard that right, Support Vindicta. So this should be a pretty unique build. Looking forward to it. Piggy's one of the best support players out there. Won a bunch of the tournaments, plays on one of the most popular tournament teams. So very, very good player. Eternus ranked, of course. So Piggy has swapped lanes here. It looks like he has swapped with the Lash. So support build, you're usually going to want to be in the duo lane. Very rarely, I think, do you ever see a support player go solo lane. So before we got into this, he did swap over into this lane with the Abrams. And then he's gone Crow Familiar first. This build's going to be kind of pretty spirit-based, I would say. You're going to have stuff like Rescue Beam and, you know, classic support items, but you're also going to have a lot of spirit damage as well. So let's take a look at the lane they're up against here. It looks like they have the other team has had a swap as well. Paradox is in this lane. You have an Abrams in your lane as well. So if Vindicta hits a stake, that's a pretty good charge opportunity for Abrams. And then the other one they have in this lane is Mirage. So Mirage went for a tornado there, did miss the Abrams. You definitely have to be careful. Early game Mirage between Scarabs and Tornadoes can be very, very deadly there. So they do get the kill there. Abrams landed his shoulder charge into the wall, which is a great early game way to get a kill. And if you saw, Piggy hit his flight there to get that damage and secure the kill. So really great combo there. And that's something you guys want to be thinking about too, right? Is right when you get into lane, think about, hey, they have these type of heroes. This is kind of how these heroes play. We have these heroes. That's how our heroes play. So Abrams, you know, hit a shoulder charge, stake them. They're pretty much dead. For their lane, Paradox and Mirage, very harass heavy with kinetic carbine. Mirage obviously has his 3 for really good harassment as well. So just things to think about early on in the lane to kind of, you know, wrap your head around how this lane is going to play out. So, oops, sorry. I'm going to move my cursor. I swear. I forgot about it. That's my bad. So a few items here early, extra stamina and headshot booster. Headshot booster, just a really great early game harass tool. And then having that extra stamina is going to allow you a lot more maneuverability in lane to kind of keep you in a safe spot in case they catch you with, like, let's say a kinetic carbine or a tornado. So Abrams did rotate over to try to get the Yamato. So Piggy's having to defend this lane by himself. He does hit his flight there. I feel like flight in this lane can be pretty dangerous. As you saw, it gives Paradox kind of an easy kinetic carbine. So it's going to be really important for Piggy to think about when he wants to hit flight and not just default to hitting flight. So Mirage did pop his Scarabs there. If you see Mirage with that glowing green around him, that means he has popped Scarabs and he has the health boost. So you generally don't want to fight him in that case. Scarabs are a really big health boost pretty early on. So that's just something to keep in mind, is if you see Mirage with his health boost like that, it's probably not the ideal fight against Mirage at that time. Piggy just going down in the subway here. This is one of the things you'll see a lot of the high-level players do, is subway is the best farm spot for golden statues and boxes. So if you have a timing there where, let's say, you know, the lane is pushed or you've finished clearing your wave, that is something you can do besides jungling, is go down to the subway and get all those boxes. So he hits the stake in the Mirage, hits his flight. Probably not going to be able to do anything here, though. Abrams doesn't really respond. And that's kind of what I was saying earlier, right? Is you really have to have that shoulder charge combo with the stake to really secure a kill there. So just some harassment. And then the other items here, we have sprint boots and extra spirit. Like I said, this is going to be a pretty spirit-heavy build. He has gotten 2 points already in Crow Familiar for that cooldown reduction. So Crow is going to be your main harassment tool. You're a large part of your damage mid to late game as well. And if you see, he's just constantly throwing his Crow out, trying to hit the Paradox and the Mirage to harass them down for health. Backing up here, Paradox did hit the kinetic carbine. He's going to miss it, though. I think Piggy just got 2 stakes, I believe. Does hit his flight there to try to get a kill. Scoping in for the assassinate. It's not going to hit anything, though. Moan Krill does rotate over and gets the Abrams in his ult, and they get the kill off of that. So a little bit of a overextension there. Moan Krill does rotate over from the other middle lane. So that's just something to keep in mind of, right? If you're pushing up in lane like that, it's always good to occasionally check your mini-map. We do have this set on Piggy's view of the mini-map, so you can see that, hey, Moan Krill's missing, we might need to back off here. Usually it's great to call that in comms as well. I really don't know how the comms are at the different levels, but at the higher level, comms are extremely important. Right when your lane is missing, you want to call it out. And one more item here, Divine Barrier. So like I said, this is a support-heavy build. Divine Barrier is going to be great on yourself. You can also put it on your allies too if they're in trouble. Give them that extra spirit and damage shield. And then for the next skill point here, we have Assassinate. Looks like Piggy's going to rotate over here, trying to get this Yamato. He doesn't have his stake up, which really impacts his gank potential. So that's another thing to keep in mind as you rotate around the map, or, you know, if you're thinking about, if you notice higher level players, so the lane right here, that Piggy's lane is just pushed into his Guardian. So when he has downtime, he's going to do other things around the map. He's going to go farm Subway, he's going to go farm a jungle camp, or he's going to rotate over to a lane and try to gank. I don't think that that gank rotation was the best, because really your gank potential comes from hitting your flight into a stake, and he didn't have his stake up there, so maybe like farming a jungle camp could have been a better decision at that point, in my mind. And he goes for a pretty early Healbane here. Like I said, this is a support-based build, and you'll see him go a lot of different debuff effects, like a slow, like Healbane. So Mirage does Tornado there. Abrams ults in. I don't think he got anyone. He might have gotten the Mirage there. They can't secure any kills, though. It looks like someone is fighting up here. Bebop got caught, it looks like, by Moan Krill. Piggy does hit his flight, but it looks like he canceled it. Maybe it's just a movement tool. Oh, Kelvin rotates over here. He's got his beam out. Piggy is going to have to back off. Pops the crow on Moan Krill. Should get this kill. Mirage is low as well. He doesn't have another Assassinate up, but they do get the kill, so that's really good. Ooh, tries to get the Mirage off the line, but he can't there. Ooh, Kelvin does pop the dome on Piggy. He's a 1 for 2 in this dome right now, so he's going to have to try to run here. His team does rotate over. They do get the kill on the Kelvin. If you guys know why he's using his flight like that, I think it's for movement, but he's using it and then immediately canceling it. So if you know why he's doing it, definitely let me know in the comments, because I'm not 100% sure what this tech is, if it's a tech at all, or if it's just a mistake, and I'm way overanalyzing this. Gets hit by the kinetic carbine here. Trying to line of sight. He looks like he probably will die here, though. There's not much he can do. Yep. So fast forward through this death timer here. Let's see what he buys. So he does buy a hollow point and a suppressor. Like I mentioned before, this is a support-based build, so you're going to have a lot of those debuff status effects, like the healing reduction on Healbane, like the fire rate reduction on suppressor. And then for the next point, he's going to get 2 points in Assassinate. So he went 2 points up in Crow Familiar for the cooldown, and then 2 points up in Assassinate for that extra damage. And yeah, so if you look against their team, Healbane's going to be really, really good against them. And this is something I really want to emphasize that you guys do, is it's great when you're early on in Deadlock or any MOBA to just straight up follow a build guide, because you don't really know what's going on. But once you've learned the items, learned the characters, understand what they do, you really need to start buying more situationally. So let's look at their team. Their team, they have a Yamato, which does have healing. Kelvin, definitely a lot of healing. And Furnace, a lot of healing. So Paradox gets some healing on the ultimate as well, I believe. So Healbane's going to be a great buy against this team to just stop a lot of that healing. So Piggy rotating over to the side lane here. This is on the latest patch, I believe. Maybe not the hot fix, though. So the trooper soaking is a lot more easy to do now with multiple people. So going over for the buff here. I think that flight was for movement there. To me, that makes sense, because you have to really get over to the buff, especially in high-level games. Buffs are huge, huge deals. Generally speaking, the buff is equivalent to roughly a tier 2 item, and so a buff this early on is going to be a really big deal. Does get the stake on the Kelvin. Wait, maybe? I felt like it did damage there. Interesting. Okay. I'm not sure what happened there. It looked like the stake procced the damage, but maybe not catching him. It was interesting. So Yamato does ult. Gotta back off. Oh, did miss his Crow Familiar there. That's going to be a lot of his damage too, so he's probably going to want to back off here. Trying to rotate around to help the Abrams, but it looks like they're not going to chase. Missed his Crow again. Does hit the stake on the Yamato this time. Doesn't want to charge too deep into the Yamato, though. You're still Vindicta. You're very squishy. Yamato has a ton of damage. Dodging the one there. Really, really good dodge on that one. Sorry, I'm trying to keep my cursor to the side there. That's my bad. Let's see what items the Yamato has real quick. So Yamato, okay, so Yamato's a melee build, so that is a great reason why you want to back off there. And I would assume Piggy knows that. So that's why you don't want to charge head first into that Yamato, because you're just going to get meleeed and die. Lash says we can try. I wonder what that means. I really wish... I feel like they used to have voice comms in replays and they removed it. Like, I would love to have voice comms in replays. Or like you could choose which team's voice comms. Obviously, if you're selected one team, they're going to hear their voice comms. So that'd be amazing. Please, Valve. So it looks like his team is trying to push this. I think I heard Pocket ult, but it looks like Pocket is 1v2 right now. Abrams is rotating over here. Looks like Piggy might rotate over as well. So it looks like it might be a 3v3. Lash does die in the side lane. He's been missing some Crows. Crows can be hard to hit, though. To be fair, Crows is pretty hard to hit. Does pop the stake there. Abrams is getting ulted by Mo and Krill. Piggy takes a pretty big chunk of damage from the Yamato's one. Does get the assassinate, sorry. The assassinate kill on the Mo and Krill. Big damage on the Yamato, forcing the ult out. You pretty much just have to run away from Yamato ult here. I don't think this is on the hotfix where Yamato gets nerfed. So using the flight again there, I think for movement, just to kind of be safe and get out. And yeah, so one more item here. Like I said, this is a spirit-based build, so he does grab Mystic Vulnerability. And something I've mentioned previously in videos is that Mystic Vulnerability or Bullet Resist Shredder are really, really great early game buys because it helps spike your damage. So if you're going a weapon build, I would say buy Bullet Resist Shredder pretty early on. If you're going a spirit build, buy Mystic Vulnerability pretty early on to get that extra damage. Yamato does grapple. Is that the... I think it's grapple. I don't know the name of that. But it looks like Yamato is going to back off. I'm actually curious why. I guess Yamato would be pretty deep there. And probably Yamato probably didn't have a lot of visibility into the minimap to know where people are, so not going to risk that getting basically counter ganked. So we're going to try to push this Guardian here. They don't know where a lot of the enemy team is right now based on the minimap. They know Yamato and Calvin are over here chasing this Abrams. So you do have to be careful here. Looks like Mirage gets hooked by the Bebop. Oh, that was a big punch by Yamato there. Double stake on the Yamato and the Calvin. Trying to get the assassin on the Yamato. I do believe that one hit. He's going to have to back off from the kinetic carbine. He doesn't want to get swapped here. Trying to find a good assassinate. Does hit the Crow on the Mirage there, and they secure the kill. Kelvin does ult, but then immediately dies. Interesting, okay. Ooh, barely missed on the Paradox there. And yeah, so for skill build here, it gets the 5 and Crow Familiar. Like I said, Crow Familiar is going to be a big portion of your damage with the support build. Having that extra bleed plus the healing suppression gives you that extra status effect. And then 1 point into stake here for that extra tether duration. So there's a buff up here, and his team is pushing in. So I would say probably go secure the buffs at this point, if possible. Looks like his team is dying. And he knows a lot of them are in this off lane here, so I think going for this buff should Actually, the window is probably past at this point. Yeah, so they just took the buff right there. I think you probably could have rushed for that buff and gotten out and been safe. So that could have been the play there. The Walker was getting pushed here too, and this is free farm, so taking that is always good. And now, I don't know if you guys can hear, I know I have game volume on low, but you can hear the Infernus farming the jungle here. So that's another thing that you guys can use is the audio of this game. So that's why I imagine he's ducking here because he's looking for the Infernus. But calling that out in comms is another great way. Maybe someone can rotate over and help you gank the Infernus in your jungle. So just another thing to keep in mind if you hear those audio cues, calling them out in comms to make sure everyone knows what's going on. So he is going to grab the urn here. It is an even urn. So they are down 3K right now. We haven't taken a look at the state of the game, so we should do that. So it looks like Mirage and Infernus on the enemy team are pretty fed. So buying items to counter them is going to be good. And then on his team, he probably wants to enable the Grey Talon. And so he just got his rescue beam. He's bought a couple tier 1s to fill out his bullet damage slots with rapid rounds and high velocity mag. Has his rescue beam now, and then filled out his spirit slots with an improved cooldown. And then he has an enduring speed, which he upgraded. So looks like they're going to try to fight for the urn here. So they know the enemy team has rotated. They do see Paradox on the minimap, and then he just saw Mirage as well. Sorry, Mirage is over there. Who called out Mirage? So it looks like, okay, interesting. They're going to get a free urn turn in here. It looks like the enemy team is pushing this Abrams and the Grey Talon over here on the Walker. They do get the kill on the Abrams, sorry. And so I think this is a really smart play here. So they got that free urn, which is really, really good. The enemy team is pushing these two Walkers. There's not going to be enough time for them to rotate over to save those Walkers. So instead of trying to rotate over for those Walkers, they're going to take this Walker to try to get some more value and then rotate back. So I think that was a really good play by Piggy's team there. So it looks like Pocket is going in here. Going to follow his Pocket in. Pops his Crow. Hits his flight as well. Lash is going to get at least one in his ult. Maybe he can stake there. Paradox already dead. Does get the knockdown on him, though. So I'm sure the enemy team, we can talk about that real quick as well. It looks like the fight is over with. Or no, Lash and them are still pushing in here. Maybe not. So speaking of items that can counter Piggy's team, a good item to counter his team would be Knockdown. Knockdown works against a lot of hero on Piggy's team. Grey Talon, the Lash, Vindicta. So someone has already bought that. I think it was the Paradox. Maybe not. Who has the Knockdown? Someone. Moon Krill has the Knockdown. Yeah. So Knockdown's a really great buy against his team. And like I said, in the mid game, you really want to, throughout the whole game, you want to buy items situationally. But in the mid game, what you want to do, take a look at the state of the game. So Grey Talon on Piggy's team is fed. So buying an item at least to try to counter the Grey Talon or interrupt what the Grey Talon wants to do, which is sit in the air, fly, hit his one. That's the item that you want to buy. So at least having one or two knockdowns for the enemy team is going to be really good against Piggy's team. So he is getting hit by the knockdown there. Probably didn't want to pop his flight there, although he could have done it for the movement just to get out and get safe. Infernus is chasing him here, and there's no way he can 1v1 this Infernus, so I think it is very smart to run here. He does pop his rescue beam on himself. Grey Talon rotates over. Missed his Crow again. Crow can be hard to hit. So Grey Talon pops an ult on Moon Krill. Should get this kill. Yep. So hits the assassinate on the Moon Krill. Good kill there. Combo the ult with the Grey Talon and the Vindicta. And looks like they're able to push this Walker. Kelvin is here, though. Hits the stake on the Kelvin. Forces him to pop his ult. I think that's a really, really great trade there. So another thing about MOBAs, if you guys are familiar, but this notion of trading cooldowns and stuff like that. So Piggy traded basically a Crow familiar cooldown and a stake cooldown for Kelvin's ultimate. So super, super great trade there, because Kelvin's ultimate is on a much longer cooldown than the skills that Piggy used to force that out. I think he hit the stake on the Infernus there, and yeah, they're going to get the kill on the Infernus. So this should be a pretty free... Yep, so a pretty free mid-boss there. Infernus is probably the only one that can really challenge them there. And I guess Yamato could ult in, although I think Yamato's ult still works the way that Yamato isn't able to steal. I'm not super familiar with it yet on this new patch, so you guys can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And then skill build here. So after he went all the way up in Crow Familiar, he went all the way up in Stake as well, just for that disarm on the tether. And like I said, support Vindicta build. I know I'm repeating myself, but what you want is a bunch of different debuff effects, because that's what your main goal is here. Do damage plus debuff the enemy team. And then some more items here as well. Superior cooldown. I believe that's on, yes it is, on Crow Familiar. Duration extender. Really great item on Vindicta. A lot of duration based abilities. And then Mystic Slow upgraded from Suppressor to get more of those debuff status effects. So Pocket does get Paradox ulted. Does not die though, which is great. So Paradox's ultimate is down here, so they can look to be a bit more aggressive in their positioning. Bebop can go look for a hook without fear of being swapped. Pocket does ult there. Piggy throws the stake. Does not get the stake though. They get the Walker kill. Pops his rescue beam. I don't know who he popped his rescue beam on there though. Pops the assassinated Moon Krill. They do get the kill. Putting pressure on the Kelvin here. Does hit his Crow. Ooh. I wonder if the assassinate wasn't charged there. He was trying to get that assassinate on the Kelvin there. So pretty winnable fight for them still. They have the advantage, one-man advantage here, so they can still push in. Hits the Crow on the Yamato there. Yamato is getting rescue beam though. Does get the stake on the Yamato as well. Yamato does not have ult, so that could have been a time for his team to go in there. Looks like they did get a hook on the Infernus there. That's a really good kill. Flies up here, really aggressive positioning on this Mirage. Looks like his team's coming with him though. Misses the stake on the Kelvin. Yamato is going pretty aggressive here. Rescue beams himself. I think he got hit with decay as well. Yeah, so Yamato has decay there. Yamato still doesn't have ult though, so it could have been worth it there to kind of stick in a little bit longer, try to get that kill. Although he is pretty low at this point, so he wants to make sure he positions to where he's not going to die. And I think their Rejuvenator, yeah, so their Rejuvenator is about to run out if you look on the left side of the screen here, so I think they definitely want to back out here. They do have 2 down, although a few of them are pretty low. I think it's just best to back out here. You got what you wanted with the Rejuvenator, and you don't want to be, you don't want to do too risky of a play. Have that really long death timer. We are hitting about 25 minutes now, so gotta be careful of this Yamato here. I think Yamato does a lot of damage right now. Nice movement tech there to get up on top of the roof. And yeah, so it looks like the fight's over. So I think that was a really great use of Rejuvenator there. So they have all of the outer base. Most of the outer base here, except for those 2. I think they did down the patron, or not down the patron. They did get both shrines as well, so they have all of their flex slots unlocked. And I might sound like a broken record. I know I say this to you guys a lot, but that's what you want to use Rejuvenator for, is pushing the enemy base, getting as many objectives as possible, because you have that advantage of having that much shorter death timer. You can take riskier fights. So I think that was a really, really good use of Rejuvenator there. And yeah, so let's look at the state of the game here. So Piggy's team up now. They were down earlier. They're up about 12K. So not a huge lead. I think they still have to be careful here. It's not like they can just roll over the enemy team, but they do have a healthy advantage. The big problems on the enemy team right now, though, are this Mirage and this Infernus. So building to counter them. Obviously, Piggy has a lot of items that help counter this Infernus. Mystic Slow, great item against Infernus. Healbane, great item against Infernus. Mirage, you just really want to do... Ooh, getting hit by the knockdown there. Did use his flight there for movement, it looked like, to just make sure he was safe. They are going to fight for this urn, it looks like. So he's going to try it. No. I think he was going to think about picking up the urn, but it looks like his team's fighting, so he needs to come over and help them. Blash is hitting an ult on the roof there. Has to back out, though. Big crow there. I think he got 3 with the crow. Ooh, big snipe on the Paradox there. So they already have 2 kills. They can push this fight now. Chasing the Moan Krill here. Great Talon does... Ooh, he did not hit the ult. Interesting. That kind of looked like it hit the Kelvin there. Pops the stake. Did he not get the Kelvin? It popped the damage and it didn't hit the stake. Maybe I'm missing something. You guys can correct me in the comments, but it definitely looked like he hit the stake there because it hit the damage, but it actually didn't stake Kelvin. And yeah, so they should be able to push into the base here now. So because of that Rejuvenator that they got with all of those objectives, it makes the next fight decisive, right? So they went to the urn, postured for a fight. They got pretty much, you know, had a very decisive fight there, was able to get a lot of kills and then chase the enemy team to finish them off. So now they're going to be able to down the patron here. And spoiler alert, if you look down here, they are going to be able to win the game. And final skill build here, he just went all the way up in Assassinate after this. So he had 2 points, and then he just got the 5er. Then he'd obviously go all the way up in Flight as well. So GG, really interesting build. Support Vindicta, not something you usually see, but really fun to watch. Thank you all so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, please hit that like button. Help me out with that YouTube algorithm. If you enjoy this type of content, subscribe to my channel. That's what this channel is all about, educational Deadlock content. I'm going to plug the Discord again. If you guys are interested in helping me build a community around Deadlock and, you know, getting better at Deadlock, having a very positive community around that, please come join the Discord. I do replay reviews. You guys can post your replays in one of the Discord threads, get your replay reviewed by me. So if you guys are interested in that, please come join the Discord. The link will be down in the description. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.